Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to an exciting Wednesday. I couldn't think of anybody better than to wrap up May with my guests. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Shari, but first, let's say hello to everybody that's here. Hello, Darren, with your countdown. Thank you so much. Chris, hello, Facebook user. Who are you? And look at Delora twerking with the twerking.
Winner!
I love it. You should see what she says with Laura Wooster. She's like, woot woot for the Wooster. Jamie, hello. Another Floridian. Hello, Jamie. Sandy, hello. Vanda, hello. Cheryl, hello, Mamala. How are you? Another Floridian. Maria, good to see you. Got a classified 30, so I can't stay long. Okay, no worries. Just be here.
All
Uh,
says hello.
hello, hello.
Hello.
Okay. Cindy, hello. Beth, hello. Tina, hey, Tina Nana. How are you? Good to see you, everybody. Come on in. Emmy, oh my God, Emmy. So good to see you, Emmy. Love, love, love to see you when you're on here. Hang on one second. I love when people says, where, I know you're starting. Where can I find the link for tonight? Go to, go, go to Facebook, um, business page, or on my YouTube. There you go. I tell people about all the time. Hello, all. Hello, Denise. Good to see you. Michelle, hello. Oh my gosh, Lori, hello. What are you doing on here? Hey, Jody. And Emmy's like, puppy. I know, very cute. Very cute. Michelle, my belle, hello. Daniela, hello. Lori, hello. Thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. All right, guys. Well, thank you, all of you, for being here. I want to introduce you to my friend Shari Dworkin Smith. It's been like a day and a half since you've been on a live. I mean, you're busy, I'm busy. We get things going. We need to make that a change. So, first of all, Shari and I met. Oh my God. Myself, Susan Fuller, David Woodbridge, um, Elizabeth, Kevin. There's a
Lauren,
bunch of us.
Ian. Um, there's
So
more.
many.
There's like 10 of us.
Yeah, 10 of us that
Rhiannon. Um,
yes, Rianne
Ginger.
and Archetta, right. Oh, now that you took off your red glasses, now I gotta switch.
Oh,
So
I'm sorry. I can put them back
no,
on.
it's okay. I'll put on the black ones,
Oh, we
matches the
can.
outfit. So and Condi, hello. Jody, hello everybody. Tatiana, hello. Delora, it's been so long. I haven't heard her name before. Uh, you're funny. She's been on. We've had now. I have to tell you. So, all of us were in John Holland and the late Janet No Havoc's class at ARE in Virginia Beach at the Edgar Casey Foundation, and we did the advanced mediumship program together. And there was about 10 to 12 of us decided to do our own Facebook page, and that Facebook page is called the famous. We have to change it. It's
Yeah,
still
because it still says 2022. Yeah, Psychic Squares, the Psychic Squares 2020.
like
And I
it's
think you and I are the only ones really who post there. But yes, you're
yeah,
here, Facebook user. You're here.
you are. Seriously, I've been following for a year. She's new to me. Really? Really? Maybe you
It
just
has
missed.
been a while. I mean, it has been a while. Yeah, before since I've been back with your amazing community. It has been a while. Yeah,
Okay.
and um, yeah.
We'll change that. Hi, Lily. Paul, good to see you. Lily is now going to say hello to everybody. Ready? Go, Lily. So I love you, Lily. All right, and she's a best-selling author. Guess what? With everybody else that we've had on here, myself, Pandora Pappas, we have Ginger Perrick in here. We also have oh my God, Janet Zavala in here, and Sherry's chapter. Here's Sherry, and Sherry's chapter is "You're Not Getting My House Today." Okay, what's your chapter? A little bit about what it's about.
So in 2009, when the housing crisis struck, the um, we were in the middle of a refinance on our home, and Bank of America started foreclosing on everybody. So Bank of America was merging with Countrywide Home Loans, and in the middle of their merger, they had switched over to Countrywide's computer systems, and a bunch of people got lost in the computer system. So even though we had been paying our mortgage while we were doing this refi on our home for 6 months, they were like, yep, keep paying, you're good, we'll get you eventually. And then they're like, oh, well, we have to foreclose because you haven't been paying us and you owe us, $10,000-$12,000. I'm like, excuse me, no, what? And because they had made a clerical error, we were in and out of foreclosure. It took about 3 years to get them to, but that piece was very instrumental in what's not in the chapter. What's in the chapters, we were able to fight the big bank and to win our house and save our house, but we were also able to save a lot of other people's houses. We were able to help other people with credit cards and from all the things that we had learned. But what's not in the book is that after that, the stress of that experience threw me into a massive, deep depression, which sometimes the universe has to knock you all the way down to the bottom in order to reassemble you and let you grow back up to the top. And that was when I decided that I was ready to reconnect with the metaphysical world and reconnect with the skills I had as a child, as a medium and things like that. So thank you, Michelle. And so that was really the start of me really understanding that the universe had a plan for me to be a working medium and a psychic and intuitive and to do all the things that we do. So
there's a lot that you do, and you're also part of Mary Kay. And speaking of Mary Kay, here's Lynn. Hi, nice to put a face to the voice, Shari. So so you've worked with Mary Kay. You've been doing mediumship work for a long time, and you also teach.
Yes.
Which is important. And you and I share the same ethics. We share the same integrity when it comes to this work. And we teach a little bit differently, which is, it's all good because we all have to have a mishmash, if you will.
You have to find a person that really resonates with you, and you learn from different. I mean, I spent most of my growing up years as a dancer, and you would take some classes with one teacher who would teach you do the same thing 100 times and you really get the form perfect and the strengths. And then you had conditioning, and then you had others for lyricism. And so you need all the different kinds. We learned very different things from John and from Janet and from Tony. And, they all have some piece of the puzzle that makes you a very well-rounded, communicator.
Please tell Alliance women do not open their mouth when they put on mascara.
Oh, Delora, that is a lie. Delora, that is a lie. I've been with Mary Kay 25 years and I still do. But I will tell you, a professional knows you do your bottom lashes first.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So when you put your mascara on the top lashes, now they're wet, and you go like this to do your bottom lashes. So that's when you get all the little speckles. So if you do your bottom lashes first, then you don't get the little dotties on the top.
And that's why we're here today, guys, to talk about the psychic abilities of the dot on your upper eyelids. We're going to read them from just kidding. So here's the fascinating thing about Shari. Her hand is in so many places in a good way. She likes to talk about stuff that I didn't even know about. And this is the fascinating piece. You told me, hey, I would like to talk about manifesting and how it's in our DNA. I'm like, what? Manifesting in our DNA? What? We're born with it? Mm-hmm. So, we are born with it, guys. And actually,
I have to get this picture off the wall. So
get the picture. For it. I'm good about stalling. So, goodness, great tip. Many decades and that penny never drops. See, Pamela? Who knew on a psychic talk that you would find out about the bottom eyelashes going first? Welcome to my lives, everybody. Welcome to my lives. Paula says, hi, Elias, and you're a pretty amazing lady. She is a pretty amazing lady. Shari and I have been friends since 2019, you guys, and she came to the wedding, which was so, so gracious. I was so happy to have you there. It was a true mitzvah. Everybody, it was really just, I'm so grateful that you both came. So,
Send Elias pictures from my garden all the time, because if you, what they so beautifully gave us to take home was packets of wildflowers. And so I made a whole section of my garden because we've been trying to attract bees and butterflies, and the wildflowers that we have from your wedding are just exquisite. My garden has yellow and blue and white and hot pink and light pink, and it's all like every time I go out there, I'm like, oh, it's Elias and John's love in my garden.
and guys, that's a trip for her to go from Florida all the way to where we are. And thank you, love it, thank you. And Dolores says, does she know about the wedding reunion? We're thinking about doing a reunion with everybody, and even some of the people that weren't there, in 3 years. So
I'm in.
good. We're
I'm
good.
in.
Okay. So let's talk about tonight's talk. So tell everybody a little bit about manifestation DNA.
Okay, so this is one of my most favorite things that I teach. I'm sorry, I have to do this because this is Bo. He's new and he's very much wanting to say hello again. So this is Bo. Everybody say hello, Bo. Okay. So he's very small. He sits in my drawer. If you follow me for any period of time, we did have another dog that we also sat in the drawer. But okay, so this changed my life when I first learned about this. And I must have learned about this probably 25, 30 years ago. This totally, like Elias throwing the glasses off, this literally made my head just go, what? Because so often in metaphysical or in manifestation or in hoping and wishing and praying and spiritual things, we feel like there's not a place for science. And there is absolutely a place for science. And so this is going to be a little sciencey, but not over anyone's head. Okay. So we are all made of electromagnetic energy. When we are communicating with spirit, it's an energetic connection. We connect psychically. When we meet somebody, you may shake their hand and feel some kind of a connection. You may know things about them. We are all made of energy. The table, the chairs, everything is molecules, is made of energy. And so when we can understand that energy responds to our DNA, we can control our DNA and how this affects the energy around us. So let me back up a little. There's a Russian scientist named Vladimir Proponin. Years ago, he did science experiments with DNA. What he did was he took a strand of DNA. Now we know what DNA looks like, right? It's the double thing, looks like a ladder that's twisted, the double helix, right? And he took a strand of DNA and he put it in a test tube. And it was vacuum sealed. They sucked out all the air of it. There was nothing in there except the strand of DNA. But there's no such thing really as a vacuum. There's always little micromolecules, the tiniest particles smaller than atoms and all of those things. And what they found was the microparticles of the universe that were in the test tube aligned themselves with the DNA strand. Because normally they move in chaos, right? They are doing like this. So when they put them in there, they lined right up with the DNA. And they thought, oh, isn't that interesting? The DNA is attracting the microparticles of the universe. And then they took the DNA strand out and they just assumed that the microparticles would go back to the chaos. And they didn't. The microparticles stayed in alignment of the DNA. They stayed in that form. So then they took the owner of the DNA, the human, and they put the person in a room and they showed the person videos and pictures and things that were happy and sad and positive and negative. What they found was, now here's where I get to use my slinky. What they found was rainbow. It's rainbow. So what they found was with the DNA, when the person who owned the DNA in this separate room, and the DNA was still in the test tube in the other room, when the person was happy, the DNA spread out. When the person was not happy, the DNA clamped down. Then they took, this blew my mind. So then they took the DNA strand 100 miles away and they put it down a missile silo out somewhere in the desert, hundreds and hundreds of feet down inside of a mountain. And the DNA person who owned the DNA was still in the room, looking at the pictures, and all that far distance away. And the DNA is still going like this in real time. Like there
Love
was no lag. There was no, can you hear me now? In real time, the DNA is responding to the stimuli that the person who owned the DNA was receiving, like that, instantaneous. So that tells us we are not only all connected, but we are connected. Our DNA is connected, and our DNA is impacted by our emotions, and our DNA impacts the world around us. So let's take this a step further. So let me clarify this. When I'm happy, my DNA goes woo, like right now. Now, if I'm happy and my DNA is stretched out, then my DNA, we know the DNA is attracting the microparticles of the universe. Where do we think the DNA has more surface area to attract more or less microparticles of the universe? Is the DNA going to attract a lot of microparticles like this, or does the DNA have more surface area if it's all spread out, right? So the DNA has more ability to attract the microparticles of the universe. Now, this is the picture I hopped up to go get. This is a picture of the Very Large Radio Telescope Array in White Sands, New Mexico. Okay, so these satellite dishes, if you saw the movie Contact with Jodie Foster,
Yes.
This is where they did that. Okay, so we went there. Each of these radio telescopes, they are 5 football fields. Each one is 5 football fields. Okay, you could put 50 Mack trucks in there, 100 Mack trucks, like those 18-wheelers. They're humongous, each one of these things. They are so big, so they can reach the furthest and have the biggest signal out to the universe, right? So when we stay in that happy place and our DNA unspools, we are like the satellite dish at the Very Large Radio Telescope Array, and we are now not just attracting the microparticles of the universe, but we're now the megaphone of our desires and our emotions to send our signal out to the universe. And so when we ask the universe for something, we're like, I hope, I think, I wish, wouldn't that'd be kind of cool. And we think of ourselves as like the vessel. But I tell people, so even if we can't see you, I'll tell you right now, put your hands up in the air. Everybody just put your hands up in the air wherever you are. Okay, look where Elias just did. Okay, he went just like this. Okay, first he did this and then he came down a little bit, right? This is what everybody does. They go like this. You can't receive if you're the vessel and this is how much space you're giving the universe to get in there. You can't receive. You have to open the bottle. You can't see me. Open. You have to open. So it's the same thing with the DNA. You have to open, right? So when you put your arms out to the universe and you say, help me, how big is your radio signal? How much are you unspooling your DNA to send that radio signal out into the universe? And so when we put a signal out there and we're like, I hope, I think, maybe, if it's okay, universe. But here's the other thing. Because our emotions are so connected to whether our DNA is open or closed, how we think about what we're asking the universe and how we're thinking about our deserve level and our worthiness. And it doesn't matter if we believe it or not. It doesn't matter, because the person who was having the science experiment done where they were showing him pictures, he was just having a gut reaction to it. He didn't know if he believed in what he was seeing or not. He was just reacting. So we spend so much time in the left brain going, yeah, but it's not real. I'm not believing it. I don't know. And we feel like we're being disingenuous, and your DNA doesn't care. Your DNA says, how do you feel? And if you can feel it, even fake it till you make it, if you can feel it, the more you can let yourself feel it, the more you will feel it, the more your DNA will unspool, the louder the radio signal is that you are sending out to the universe, and the more surface area you have to attract those microparticles to attract what you want. And let me just say one more thing. It doesn't matter if you have any idea how to get to where you want to go, because the universe will figure that part out for you. All you have to know is what it is that you want, like where are you going? And my favorite question, what is one thing, could be a little thing, could be a bigger thing, that I could do right now to move me closer to that goal? Just one thing. Because once you take one step, the microparticles in the universe will help you take the next step. So this is unspooling your DNA.
I love it, because this morning from morning meditation, we talked about manifesting, because I wanted to tie in with what you're talking about. Um and guys, it is a shameless plug, but in the how in revamping your vision board, we're talking about a lot of this feeling in a vision board. So make sure. Um Delora, leave it to her. Doesn't matter if we're short. Do the tall people get in the way of our signal?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Yes.
You do not have to kill the tall people to sit down.
Yes. This explains why stressful situations close you down.
Yes,
Exactly.
it does. Yes,
Exactly.
It does.
Hello, Ronnie. Yes. Happy National Macaroon Day. Love it.
Okay.
Love it.
Good
Would
to
you
know.
spell the name of the Russian scientist?
Sure. So his first name is Vladimir, and his last name is Poponin. Poponin. And I'm sure somebody will type that in the comments. Yes. Vladimir Poponin.
Vladimir Poponin.
Poponin. And this, I learned about this probably 30 years ago. So this has been going on for a long time, but it's not something that people talk about because there is this disconnect between, we're manifesting and with science, the spirituality and our crystals and all the lovely things. Vladimir is spelled Vladimir with an I, I-M-I-R, Vladimir.
Or Delora, or do you say Pupan?
So there is a lot of times there's this disconnect between science and spirit, between faith and science, or spirituality and science. And what really knocked me out when I learned all of this was that there doesn't have to be a disconnect between science and belief and faith. But at the same time, it didn't matter what my left brain was saying, because if my emotions were right, if my heart was in the right place, that's it. Delora got it right. So if my heart was in the right place, unspool. So
I love it.
And here's amazing things can happen.
Something that Lisa Williams talked about is also the difference, or the science piece and the psychic piece. It does connect, and she has said at a conference, she has said that it's fascinating where we focus on things and how we look at stuff and how we do manifest can move through. It's shown scientifically, especially also mediums. Mediums use more of their brains when they're in mediumship, because it's an expansion, and they've done studies on it. Fascinating to me. Just absolutely fascinating.
Well, this is why as mediums, we start with a prayer. We start with a blessing. And the reason that I start with a blessing is because, and my personal blessing that I say before I work is thank you blessing. I say to angels, spirits, loved ones, whoever, thank you for allowing me to do this work, because being in that place of gratitude, bloop, I want to expand my DNA. Now you need a slinky. This literally lives on my desk because I talk about this so much, but I want to expand my DNA, because the more I can expand my DNA, the more energy particles of the universe from our loved ones on the other side can glom onto me and share with me the information that the person sitting across from me is hoping to receive.
And you thought I talk. You guys thought I talk. Put Shari and I in a room together. We're like, yeah. Oh gosh. How does the magnetic grid of the Earth affect our DNA?
So what I can say about that, I don't know the answer to that. What I can say, there's two things that I can say about this, Delora. One is I can talk to you about like solar flares. When we're having solar flares, we can definitely be more receptive, because when we open our DNA and there's so much more energy that's coming in, we can be really heightened, which is why if you're an empath or you're someone who meditates and you stay in that place of calm and gratitude and that kind of thing, those solar flares and things like Mercury retrograde or full moon can feel more impactful on you than maybe other people. The other thing I can talk about is the Schumann resonance, which I don't know if you ever talk about that on your, do you know what that is? The Schumann resonance is the vibration of the earth. So when people talk about, raise your vibration, raise your energy, right? So we have energy, but so does our planet. Our planet has a resonance, an energetic level to it. And so not just like sea level rising and temperatures are rising, but the Schumann resonance, the Schumann meter is actually also in Russia. And it there you go, Summer's got it. And it measures the vibrational level of the planet, and the number has been rising. The vibrational frequency of the planet has been rising then over the last, especially like 6-7 years. And this is why we're seeing so much of the unrest and the clashing and the heightened emotions that we're seeing and the division with people on our planet, is because the Schumann resonance is going up. The people who are following someone like Elias, who are like, yes, I get it, spirit and love and gratitude and raise your vibration and meditate and crystals and all the things, we are feeling that resonance, and we're like, all right, we got it. We're evolving. The planet's raising. We're all raising our vibration. And the people who don't follow these kind of things are going, what the heck's going on? And they're, having this unrest that they can't quite name. So in those ways, that magnetic field of the earth can affect us. But I don't think that changes. In my experience, it has not changed how we do our DNA, because my ability to change the DNA, or your ability to change your DNA from going in or out, is solely based on your personal emotional state at any given moment. And that was proven by taking the DNA and putting it down into the missile silo, that the emotions that are inside of us are much more impactful on our DNA than the energy that's outside of us.
Exactly. And that's what I've been, and I'm glad you said this, because I've been talking about this for a long time.
Now you've got the science to back it up.
I got the science to back it up. Thank you. I may be jumping ahead. Pamela says, do you know or believe we can change our DNA with manifestation, as in cure genetic conditions?
So there's a lot of evidence, there's a lot of research being done right now with things like CRISPR, which is a DNA sequencing gene therapy kind of thing, where they are using this to like reorder DNA to work on things like birth defects and things like that, genetic mutations. And I still feel like, because we are, and this is my personal belief,
right?
But I do follow what goes on with things like CRISPR. I personally believe that because we are a soul, we are energy that is inhabiting a physical form, that regardless of whether our DNA was pink with purple polka dots, we would still have our soul, our emotion, our heart would still affect it, whether it was in this order or this order. So that's my personal belief. I don't have any science to back it up, because I have not had any personal genetic alterations. But I feel like it's the part that shifts our DNA is not physical. It's the spirit and the emotion. Does that make sense?
Okay. No, totally. And speaking of DNA, I was just watching you and I'm like, you look great, girl. You really do. The hair looks fabulous. The face looks fabulous. You look really good.
I'm wearing our new summer colors.
By Mary Kay. No, it looks really good. And the hair is
the hair needs some color. It's a little, the gray has got to go.
No, but it's really pretty on you. It really, really is. Do you still have the purple in? Because I can't tell.
I do, but it's really faded. This is where the gray's coming out, because I need to do, go get the.
It looks great. Really, truly, Shari. Mandy says, do you listen to the manifestation meditation frequencies at night?
I don't, but I'm a big fan of things like binaural beats. I like to do binaural beats. And Bo agrees. Bo agrees. So, but I listen to. Hey, thank you. Hey, for me personally, I listen to so many things. I have like a whole like podcast, where you can like put them in the playlist and they just go, and it's so many different things. And then I'll go on YouTube and I'll get some binaural beats, or the Hay House app now has binaural beats, which I love. And you can just play that underneath. If you're not familiar with binaural beats, if you ever want to boost your productivity, binaural beats is a great way to do that. But they're also really great for sleep too. So instead of like yeah, if you go on YouTube, there's all different ones. There's like energy ones and productivity ones, and there's ones for sleep. And so that kind of stuff, it really helps me with wherever, whatever it is that I'm doing. So I'm a big fan of that binaural. It's BINUE or
Somebody put it in. So let me ask you this. Okay, so now we know that manifestation is in our DNA. It comes from within, moving out. How do we?
It's so empowering. Like you have so much more control than you thought. Is that was the question?
How do we take the next step and move forward? Like, so for this class that I'll be teaching on Friday, I'll be talking about the feelings that go into the vision board, not just cutting out pictures and slopping on a collage, right? And then the action that goes behind the feelings. That's part of the class. There's more to it. But how do we step forward into that place of saying, yes, I can. Yes, I will. Yes, I deserve it. Yes, I'm worthy of it. What is your take on that?
Okay, so for me, and my vision board is like right here on my desk. It lives right here on my desk. Okay, and then there's a bigger one that's in my bathroom on my bathroom mirror. And so for me, I think the first thing is knowing how do you absorb information. Okay, are you a visual learner? Are you an auditory learner? Like, how do you bring in information? Okay, you have to know that about yourself, because if you're an auditory learner and people just keep showing pictures to you, there's a disconnect there. It won't be as effective. So the first thing is knowing who you are and how you perceive. The second thing is, where are you going? What is it that you're doing? And I think knowing the destination without judgment. Okay, I'm going to say that again, because the first thing that happens is we're like, I'm going to run a marathon. And then that brain thing in the left brain, the logic side goes, what the hell are you talking about?
Right.
So I'm going to tell you, I'm running a 5K this weekend. It's only the second 5K I know, right? So last year, I live in Orlando. And so you may be familiar with the Pulse shooting at the Pulse nightclub. And that was very close to my heart for a lot of different reasons. And so they have a 5K that they do. And so a few years ago, I had surgery on my knee, and part of my recovery was walking. And I used to be very athletic. I was a dancer. I was an athlete. And so one day while I was walking, I was like, I wonder if I could run. And so the first day I was like, no, you cannot run. The answer was very clearly no. But a few more weeks of walking, and all of a sudden I could jog. Really, a child could walk faster than I was jogging. But I worked my way up. So last year I did the 5K first time, and I have my medal is up here on the wall. I don't know if you can see it. No. So I ran the 5K. Took me like just under an hour. So I've been working all year long to do this 5K. I still do not run very, very fast, but I am stronger, and I'm very slow and steady wins the race. There are people who could train more than I do, who could go from my time last year was like 54 minutes and probably get down to 20 minutes this year. But I don't need, that wasn't my goal. My goal is just to be faster. So I'll have to tell you what happens on Saturday. But I know that I can be faster. Now my goal is to be under 40 minutes. So that would be a 15-minute improvement. So that was my goal. Okay. So I have my medal is literally right here on the wall. It's super, super pretty.
Go for it.
It's super, super pretty. Oh, just as I said on my dog.
Oh,
I'm sorry. He's fine. He jumped out of the drawer, and I said, oh my God. Sorry. He has gone now. So this is the medal from last year.
That's pretty.
Isn't that really pretty?
It's really pretty.
So pretty. And so it hangs on my wall, and I look at it every day, and I'm like, okay, I know this 5K is coming up in the first weekend of June, and I'm going to do. And so that was the goal. Okay. So first we know how we perceive. I'm kind of visual. Okay. There you go. So, yeah. And then the next thing is, what is it that you're going to do? So you have to have the idea. You have to know what you're doing. And then the third part is the emotions. And it's not, how do I feel about getting up to go running every other day? Because the answer to that is not always good. But how will I feel when I cross the finish line and I get something else like this? Or the people who are at the finish line who are cheering. And I got to tell you about half a mile before the finish line, the course goes past the Pulse nightclub, and there were hundreds of people out in front of the nightclub cheering and yelling. And I mean, when I ran by that last year, I mean, I'm bawling my eyes out.
Yeah.
And it was so powerful. That emotion of being part of letting people know I care, I'm with you, I see you, I'm all of those things. Because hi, I live in Florida. So all of those things, how does that feel? I mean, it gives me chill bumps right now. That's the emotion that helps your DNA go loop. Okay. So how will you feel when you achieve that goal? Even if the goal literally, like today, the goal was to like run a mile and a half, like straight out. Okay. Like the goal is little. It doesn't have to be one of the things we do is we set that goal and we say, oh, I'm going to run the 5K. And then we're like, I'm running the 5K with no thought process of all the little micro goals that were between now and running the 5K. So it's the micro goals we also want to be excited about. Like, okay, so I ran a mile and a half. When I started running, I could not run a mile. Like I didn't have the heart, the endurance to continue even a pokey pace for a full mile. And now I can run a mile and a half without having to stop and the rest. And then I can run 2 miles without having to stop and rest. It's the little tiny, tiny goals. Right. And my running partner he laughs at me because I literally have a thing on my phone and a thing on my watch. So when we're running, I have 2 little cheerleaders. He's like, who's talking? I'm like, those are my ladies. They're cheering me on. You know, they're like, good job, you know? And so they're 2 different voices. So I have like, you know, because it makes me smile, it makes me laugh, and it keeps my DNA, you know, going. So how do you receive the information? And it drives him crazy because he's like, oh, let's go here. And I'm like, no, I need to know where we're going because I need to look at where we're going. I need to see it. And so how do you get information? Are you visual or you're auditory or like, you know, what is it? Right. What is the goal? And then what is that one thing that you can do, one step that you can take to move you towards the goal? Because a lot of times we feel like I have to have it mapped out. I have to know all the steps before I can even get started. I'm going to tell you, that is not how that goes. That is not how that goes. Because even if you had all the steps, that is still not how that's going to go. So getting the emotion inside of even the baby steps and being proud of yourself for the baby steps, applauding yourself for the baby steps, celebrating the baby steps, all of that is wrapping it all together. So once we take one step, then we'll know we can take the next step and we'll have an idea of, all right, I got this far. I know I can take the next step. Like I could go 1.25 miles and then I could go 1.5 miles. Right. But it's also celebrating our wins, which we're often not that good about doing. And so each time I'm like, yay me. Like, I mean, maybe I sucked that day, but I still got up and I did it. And sometimes I got up is the, you know, like sometimes that's as much as I could say, yay me, you know, because I just like,
and
like
that's
in all honesty, this morning's run sucked. I mean, we mostly walked because I would just like, it just wasn't a good night's sleep. It wasn't a good morning. It just didn't, you know, and, but I still got out and I did it. So however long it took, we still got the steps in. And so, you know, tomorrow will be better. And we keep trying because tomorrow will be, even if it's just that baby step better, it still counts. Baby steps forward are still steps forward.
And here's the important thing, guys. You think about this. This is everything we've talked about in lives, in workshops. It's the same, you know, Shari's saying the same thing that we've talked about. And Andrea says, am I falling down because I don't map it out? I like to fly by the seat of my pants. If that's what works for you, let me tell you, sometimes we have to fly by the seat of our pants. When I was up on stage with Celebrate Your Life, and I looked at that clock thinking, oh my God, I've talked for 1 hour and 20 minutes or 1 hour and 30 minutes. I only have this short time left. Let's wrap up this, you know, the PowerPoint. And I'm going faster. And then I bring it to a close, what I think is a close, and do a guided meditation. I look at the clock again and I'm like, crap. That's the real time. You have 1 hour and 20 minutes left. So I had to now jump into by the seat of my pants and go, how am I? And then Liz Dawn is sitting in the last row as she walks in, and she already knows what I'm talking about. I'm like, guys, I can talk here all about manifesting, but I'm feeling really drawn to come to you. I got off the stage and went like put the microphone in people's faces. I'm like, how do you manifest? What do you need to do? It was really, really important. And that if that's what works for you, Andrea, then that's what you got to do.
Okay, but there's something really important that you're kind of missing about what you just said. Okay, so no, don't map it out the whole thing, because I guarantee you when you get to the finish line, it's not going to look like what you think it's going to look like. Okay, it's going to look, so we open the door to the universe to help us with this or something more, this or something better. But see, here's the part that Elias, because you thought that you were messing up of like, oh gosh, what am I going to do now? Sometimes we have to give space for the universe to create that something better than what we had planned. So Elias had this whole talk planned, and he, got to the end because he got the time mixed up, and he's like, but it allowed for the universe to come in and create something more meaningful to the receivers, to the people sitting in the audience, than if you had just continued to speak for an hour and a half. So we give space to the universe by not having it all planned out, because here's the thing, the universe is going to take the space whether we leave it for the universe or not, because the universe is way more powerful than we are. So,
and that's something I always say is how can it get better than this? What else is possible?
What else you got?
Yeah, and this or better for my highest and greatest good. Exactly.
So if you have 2 or 3 steps planned out, great. Just keep going, because like a moving sidewalk or an escalator, the next step will appear. It will appear. I tell people all the time about, so we know I've been in Mary Kay for 25 years. I did have several pink Cadillacs. When I first earned my very first pink Cadillac, it was right in the time where Mary Kay was moving away from the traditional, the sedan, the big land yachts, right? And now they were going to offer the land yacht, or you could get an SUV. And it was the first time they'd offered an SUV. And so I'm working on the Cadillac. We're going to earn the Cadillac. Oh my gosh, you're going to get the Cadillac. And now we have to go test drive cars. I'm like, I want the SUV. We looked around. And so the car comes. I pick it up. It's sitting in my driveway. I keep looking out my bedroom window because my driveway is right there. And my husband's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I keep looking at it. And he's like, well, are you afraid it's going to go away? I'm like, no, it doesn't look like what was on my vision board, because my vision board only had the sedan, because that was what was available until like the last, little bit. And I kept thinking, it doesn't look like my vision board. It's so much better. So right. It's not ever going to look exactly like what's on your vision board, because if we get stuck into that box, we don't leave any room for creativity on the part of the universe to create something more that we might not have even thought about yet.
Well, I want to get in the stuff that you're doing so we don't forget, because you guys, trust me, Shari and I can talk for hours. We can. We were chit-chatting before we got on, and we're like, oh crap, we gotta go. So a couple things. I want to hey Irma, good to see you. Irma remembers Shari.
Irma comes and visit me on Mondays.
We need to branch out. So tell everybody a little bit. I know they can go to your link tree, but You're on Instagram. You're on Instagram. Mondays you do what?
So on Mondays at 4:30 Eastern time, I go live. We do channeled information coming from spirit. I do a collective card reading for the group to help you get through your week. And then at the end, I do individual oracle card readings. So not really a lot of mediumship, but what's amazing is watching the channel information comes through. I always do the channel first, and then we pull the oracle cards, and they are always in alignment with what has just been channeled. So it's an amazing thing. And to be able to help, if you want a card reading, then you can just come in and ask. I'm very specific. You have to say, I want a card reading, or please can I have a card? Because people come on, they're like, hi, oh, you skipped me. I'm like, no. Elias talked about ethics at the beginning. If you don't give me permission to go into your energy, then I won't go into your energy. So I don't believe in mental trespassing. So if you want, but that's Mondays. Thursdays, I do a short kind of beginner's meditation. It's usually like 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. And it's often before Elias is doing something marvelous. So it's a good warm up on Thursdays. I know No, okay, it used to be.
Yeah.
So if you need a meditation on Thursday to help you get to the, to get into the week, you just kind of got to breathe through some stuff. It's different every week. We do lots of different meditation techniques, lots of different like visualizing, manifestation, releasing. And it's just something short to help just kind of calm you down so you can finish out the week in peace and not in stress. I am a medium. I am a working medium. I am a psychic. I was telling Elias, we just finished filming the beginning mediumship class, so it's now in editing. So we'll have that out in probably about a month. So I'm really excited about that. And then in September, I'm going to get my hypnotherapy certification. So I'm very excited to be able to work with people in that way as well. But the other thing that I do that I think maybe Elias doesn't even know is I'm also now a certified grief counselor. Which a grief educator, sorry, my bad, a grief educator. When we have people who are dealing with various forms of grief, it could be, anticipatory grief, or it could be prolonged grief. It could be any kind of trauma or grief or loss. When our society is so instant gratification that we're so not accustomed to allowing the grief process. And so one of the things that I felt was really important is that we have more people who understand how to help people through the grief process, because you can have grief for all kinds of things. When they tried to steal my house, I had grief at the end for winning and being able to save my home, because there was some kind of delayed grief that I couldn't grieve the trauma I was experiencing while I was experiencing it. But once it was finished, it was like, oh, and that threw me into this huge depression. But a grief educator would have been able to help me to go through it. So being a grief educator, I think, is something, it's something that I feel like is so important. We just need more people who can understand really what folks are dealing with when they're dealing with grief. So those are some things about me.
So guys, she's on Facebook. She's on Instagram. Do you have the TikTok or no?
I have TikTok, but I'm using my TikTok. I haven't been doing a lot with it lately because my younger one just graduated college. My older one is moving. There's been lots of stuff happening around here. But what I've been using my TikTok for is to share with people, because I wanted the message to be different. I didn't want to do the same thing that I'm doing on all the other places. So one of the things I'm doing on my TikTok is things I wish people knew about working with a psychic medium. So when people call and they're like, can you just answer a question right now? I'm like, well, I'm cleaning the cat litter box, so no. So just to share those little things for people to think about choosing the right medium, choosing the right psychic. So in order to educate people about, working with someone, how do you choose a good person? Because there's a whole lot of crappy psychics and mediums out there that will take your money. And so, how do you know those kind of things? So I don't have a lot of followers on TikTok, so feel free to come on along. And I am I usually do those videos on Fridays. So
awesome. Jamie, also a Floridian. Looking forward to meditating with you and learning from you. Awesome. Paula says, where can you learn how to become a grief counselor?
Fantastic. So the place I would start is with David Kessler's website, grief.com. And then you can look at the thanks, Deborah, Delora, and then you can look. He has the Grief Educator program is there. I would tell you, I think it's one of the best things I have done for myself, just for my own grief and the people that I have lost, and to be able to help others in such a really important way. So yeah, absolutely, totally worth it.
Oh, Andrea's hysterical. Can you tell me about my twin flame? You're funny, Andrea. You're funny.
Oh, Elias is your twin flame?
No. I do this thing on TikTok when they're like, what about my twin flame? I'm like, they do the whole match thing and my God.
So anyway. No, I haven't seen that. I will have to go and look at that.
Oh, it is because everyone's like, oh, my love, I can read your twin flame, my love. For $5, I'll give you a match reading, my love.
I will tell you, yes. I will tell you, be careful what you wish for, because I had my twin flame here with me in this life, and he has transitioned, and it was very much like, I love you, I hate you, I love you, I hate you, I hate and so nobody needs that kind of drama.
And see, guys, here's the beauty of this. Shari and I both have different stories around twin flame. Shari will talk about what she believes a twin flame is. I will tell you what I believe a twin flame is. They're totally different. Not that one of us are right or wrong, but It's just that I always say, I'm like, okay, twin flame, why would you get ripped, a soul get ripped in half and going, I'm looking for you, I'm looking for you. There's, I think we lose a lot of stuff in semantics. I think it's so crazy. Look at Lori. Shari just followed you on Instagram.
Thank you.
Way
And
to
somebody just popped up on my phone that someone's following me on TikTok. So yay, thank you. I will tell you, so for me, what I understood, because my story, my twin flame story is like a book all unto itself. And if you want to get the Own Your Awesome book, there's a link on my website to just send me a message and I will send you a signed copy. So what I understood was that and this is just from my experience, and what I understood was that he and I grew up together and that he was here to help me to get to this point. And that once he had helped me get onto this path, now he went back to spirit so that he could help me from the other side. And so I feel like it's not necessarily that we've been ripped apart and have to find our way back, but that they're here to almost be like a guide on earth, a human guide to help you stay, going in the direction that you came here to go in. So it's like, I come back to this is a very, very old movie with Warren Beatty called Heaven Can Wait. But I love that movie, right? But he had the angel guy who would come down and talk to him and be like, really, you sure that's a good idea? And this is what you want to do. And so he was sort of the advisor, but he would be here on earth. And so for me, that was part of how I understood my twin flame journey was that he was here to help to guide me in the physical.
And I also referred to the movie with Albert Brooks and Meryl Streep.
Yes, Defending Your Life.
Yes, love that movie. But when I talk about the way that the wording that I use for that, what you described, is I call that soulmate. I'm like, we come all in this boat. There's many of us, many of our souls. And see, this is the fascinating stuff, guys. Again, different verbiage, but we're both saying the same thing. So
there's different kinds of soulmates.
Right. That's what I mean. And I believe, and I don't even think we talked about this, I believe that a spirit guide from your past life is part of your, they're your soul boat people, but that person didn't decide to come back. So now they're a past life spirit guide. That's your spirit guide. And actually, guys, on June 1st, tomorrow, I'm talking in Sunny Dawn Johnston's group about Intuition 365. I'm talking about meeting your spiritual guides.
And for me, because I believe in reincarnation, if you have a spirit guide that was from a past life, that's part of your soul tribe. And so they wouldn't just be your guide in that life. And that's like, okay, see ya. They would be your guide because they're part of your soul family. So
see, tomato, potato. I love it. Guys, thank you. Shari, thank you. We got to have you come back on real quick. Friday night, which is coming up, revamp your vision board. You want to talk about what Shari, you want to talk about what Shari's talking about? Come into the revamp your vision board. Also, sign up you have a newsletter, no?
I do. If you go to my website and you fill out the form, we'll get you signed right up for the newsletter. Absolutely.
I got you, girl. And also, we've got, Friday, we've got revamp your vision board. Saturday, we've got growing your healthy boundaries with Ginger Perrick, especially for you people pleasers. June 4th, we have growing your psychic senses. It's a class. Everything's on eliaspatrick.com under events and appearances. And Father's Day is coming up. Guys. I'm going to promote Michelle. Go to Top Popcorn, Gourmet Popcorn. It's delicious. Michelle, which I think you met at the wedding. Michelle and her brother, this is delicious. It's better than Garrett's popcorn in Chicago. She's got caramel cheese popcorn. She's got apple cider popcorn. She's got lava popcorn, which is a little spicy. It's delish. And she's got the original popcorn. Go to Top Popcorn. So to have your Father's Day gift, it's coming up soon, guys. Okay, so again, Top Popcorn, Gourmet Popcorn. Here's a little humi-hami, a little QRC thing. Click, touch, press, take a picture. I don't know what you do with it. Michelle, put the put the
QR
website.
code. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
thank
I
you.
love it. Oh my gosh, I love popcorn.
I'm telling you, you've been to Chicago, no?
It's one of the places I've not been.
Okay, we're going someday where you and I'll show you, and we'll eat our way through.
Oh, I'm out. Yeah, I don't understand how I've not been there. I'm like all about it.
We'll eat our way through Chicago.
I know.
Okay, look, yeah, no buttons, Mama La, no buttons. And Cheryl's the one that's correcting my Yiddish, by the way. She's cute.
I try to teach him new words.
You do. I like the word verstuch. It's not a word, but it sounds Yiddish, and I just like look, I'm all
Verstunkene. The word is verstunkene.
verstunkene.
Verstunkene. Like
It.
that verstunkene dog won't go out because it's raining.
Yeah, I love it. Navy Pier dogs. I've got a better one than the Navy Pier dogs. Trust me. All right, guys, thank you. Please follow Shari on all her Instagram stuff. Shari, hold that thought. Remember, guys, we are here to connect. And when we connect, we educate. And when we educate, we grow. There is unity in community. From our hearts to yours. Mwah. Tomorrow is Thursday. I'm looking at the new calendar. Tomorrow is Thursday. I will be on the Tiki Talk at 7:30 a.m. Pacific time, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time for short, mini guided meditation with movement. And then we will also be doing a little group read. Remember, there are still some spots left for the June retreat. Very small spots left for the June retreat. Sail with Spirit. There are 6 rooms that have opened for that cruise to Alaska. Delora, your name is on it. And Celebrate Your Life, August 4th through the 7th. I will be doing guided meditation with movement, and that will be a trance dance. All right. Much love to everyone here. Thank you. Lynn, so always good to see you, Lynn. Thank you for being here. So glad you're on here. And yes, I am a mensch. Thank you. I know what that is. All right, guys. Thank you, Shari. Hold that phone, and we'll talk soon. From our hearts to yours. Bye, guys. Be well.